welcome back. Welcome back to another awesome episode of 𝐒𝐻𝐵N's Roundtable Show. I am super excited to be here again and to bring you this awesome guest. I can't wait to get started. But before we do, let me go ahead and give a quick introduction. So I'm your host, Jacqueline Kabah Harrison. I am your host for 𝐒𝐻𝐵N's Roundtable Show, as well as the 𝐒𝐻𝐵N's Roundtable Leadership Symposium, which happens in January, May, and September. We did not do one, or shall I say, we did not do one for September because we had the book launch for my first anthology, Born to Lead, Awakening the Leader Within. Yay! Our launch was actually on Monday the 26th. So that was super exciting. And I hope you all were able to join us. And if you don't, you can go back and catch the replay. It's definitely on my Facebook page. Also, I am always looking for new guests for the show. So if you're interested in being spotlighted and or advertising your business, then let me know. Let's have a conversation and let's make it happen. And last but not least, I am looking for co-hosts. So if you have a show, or even if you have an idea for a show and you are looking to expand your visibility, then let's have a conversation because I have an awesome opportunity for you to be a show host on the Women Win Network on my 𝐒𝐻𝐵N's Roundtable channel. All right, so we have an awesome guest. Give me a drum roll. It is Miss Cassandra Hill. I'm going to let her introduce herself, tell us a little bit about who she is, who she serves, where she's based out of. Just let us know a little bit about you, Cassandra.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cassandra Hill, hailing from Arkansas. My company, Holistic Living Consulting, we've been in business for 4 years now, transforming the health, physically, emotionally, and spiritually of minority women.
Okay.
Yeah, so
that is so wonderful. So you know what? Tell us a little bit more about the business. Like, I know you said you've been in business for 4 years. What was the motivation behind it? What's your why for why you do what you do?
Oh my goodness, my why. I come from corporate. I was in corporate America. I worked as a gerontologist, did that for about a decade. And you might be thinking, Cassandra, what exactly is a gerontologist? Because I get that question a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But that's basically a person who specializes in the study of aging. And so I did that, climbed the corporate ladder. And raise your hand if you're a woman who's worked in corporate America and you worked yourself to exhaustion. And I did that. I worked myself to exhaustion and my body shut down. My body shut down and I was diagnosed with systemic lupus. And so our bodies, sisters, let me tell you, if you won't give your body a break, your body will make you take a break. And so my body made it its own break. And when I got diagnosed with systemic lupus and started treatment for that, which included chemo drugs, steroids, and anyone out there who dealt with chemo, you know the side effects of that is just so much on the body. And it tore my body up. I mean, just tore my body up. And so I couldn't work in corporate. And I'm at home day after day. And one day I just woke up and I'm like, God, I'm tired of being sick. And a lot of times we're scared to tell God what's already on our mind anyway, but He knows. He knows. And so I'm like, Lord, I'm tired of being sick. And I tell you, that thought changed my life. That one thought changed my life because a few days later, who would have thought that I would have had a nutritionist reach out to me on LinkedIn? Who, guess what, needed a gerontologist. Look at God. And so she reached out to me about this project, and I told her, I said, you know, I can work, but I don't work at the same pace as I used to. And I told her some of the symptoms I was having. And she said, you know what, try a few different things with your diet. She suggested some foods. I tried it. I did get some relief, and I thought if I could get relief from adding these few little foods to my diet, why not explore more? So I went back to college, studying alternative health, medicine, health and wellness. And who would have thought a few months later that I would develop a regimen that put me in remission with systemic lupus? So God blessed me to get in remission. I'm in remission, and I'm just sharing with other people I know, because at that point I'm in several support groups for people with various autoimmune conditions, whether it was lupus, arthritis, just all sorts of autoimmune conditions. So I'm just sharing, and did that for 2 years. And I knew I needed to do more to help more people. But starting a business was my first thought. I'm just going to be honest. But one day I had a few friends, we were just talking, and they were like, Cassandra, if you started a business with this health wellness, oh my goodness. And so they planted that seed. And from that seed, that's how Holistic Living Consulting came to be. It was birthed because I know that there's so many women, especially minority women, who was in that position I was in. You work yourself to exhaustion, almost to death, in having quote unquote success. So we exist to show women that your health and well-being is priority. We envision a world where health disparities no longer exist for women of color. And so that's why I created Holistic Living Consulting and my why. There's so many. If I told you right now today that 42% of Black women live with hypertension, high blood pressure, that's not acceptable. Here in the United States, with all this healthcare, and that's just one condition. The list could go on and on. But, you know, I want to be one of the people who make a change for us. And yes, I serve other women, but however, the focus is on minority women simply because we have health disparities that no other segment of the population is experiencing at this time.
So, yes, absolutely. I am aware of that in terms of, you know, with just even minorities in general, in terms of high blood pressure, diabetes, like you said, autoimmune, fibromyalgia, depression, anxiety. So I'm with you on that. And boy, do I know it oh too well. But what I want to ask you, let's kind of back up just a little bit for those that may not know, and you know, kind of myself included. You know, I don't know a whole lot about lupus. Tell us. I know it falls under that category of autoimmune. So let me ask a couple of questions, and then maybe you can just kind of, you know, answer them. So initially, an individual can get it at any age. I would assume. Like, so okay, so that's my first question. And what exactly is it when they say autoimmune? What does that mean? What exactly does lupus do to the body?
Well, when you talk about autoimmune, that means your body doesn't recognize its own self.
Okay.
It doesn't recognize its own cells and all that good stuff that it should recognize.
Okay.
Now, with lupus, there's various forms of lupus. With what I was battling with, systemic lupus, that means it's widespread. So it attacks several parts of the body and it's different for different people. Like for me, it was joints, it was respiratory, it was, those were the biggest, the joints and respiratory. But it attacks skin. It can attack any part of your body, and it doesn't recognize those healthy tissues, so it attacks them.
Okay.
And so you're like way higher risk of developing any type of virus, bacteria, because your body is fighting those healthy tissues that you actually need.
Okay, got you. And then the systemic part means that it could attack anywhere in the body.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Because I'll be honest. Sometimes I used to get a little confused between what's the like sickle cell
Yes.
and lupus. But I know sickle cell. I know that's strictly for African Americans. But now sickle cell you're born with, right?
Yeah.
But
yes, you have the
you're
you're born with the gene. Yes.
right. Okay.
And for a long time, I went misdiagnosed actually. I went misdiagnosed for years as being anemic when I actually did have lupus. I first started having symptoms in college,
Okay.
undergrad. So like barely 20, I didn't get diagnosed until I was in my 30s.
So what type of symptoms, or what would you recommend for those individuals out there, for them to maybe help the healthcare providers be able to properly diagnose them? I mean, I know this is not a whole medical discussion, but what types of things were you experiencing that took you to the doctor in the first place?
I was experiencing extreme fatigue without a logical explanation for it.
Okay.
Even at that time, being in college, a full-time college student and worked part-time, but it shouldn't be that a person that young, you're so fatigued that you can't even stay awake. Okay. Literally just fall asleep at a drop of a dime. So just extreme fatigue, sometimes having problems walking, having migraines that just, headaches that just, it takes a while to get relief from. And it's no, I could see if you've been to a concert and the music's going and stuff, but there's no connection to that. I would suggest making a diary, because that's what I started doing, just keeping a diary of my symptoms, as well as even with certain foods, paying attention. Like sometimes you eat a certain food and it just doesn't go well for you. Because during the course of that time, I learned that I was lactose intolerant, because I noticed I'm like, anytime I drink milk, I get real bad sick. I mean, real bad sick. And so just paying attention to things like that, making a diary is really helpful. And then trust your gut. For us women, we know our bodies better than anyone else. So listen to your gut. If something doesn't feel right with you, it doesn't matter what a doctor says, a nurse says, or whoever says. Yes, they've been to school and they have the education. However, they don't know your body. So just trust your gut. And if you feel something's off, it's a pretty good chance you're right.
All right. Well, that was very helpful. So with the lupus, so tell us a little bit more about your particular business and how you help women so is like for example, is it only lupus, or is it different types of autoimmune disorders? And what type of process do you walk them through without giving away too much, of course?
Sure. Actually, we work with women. Yes, we do work with some women who may have a chronic condition like lupus or type 2 diabetes or high blood pressure. But also, we definitely work with women who may not have any type of chronic condition because we really preach living a proactive, healthy life. Let's not wait until your house is in a full-blown inferno to put out a fire. If you know that there's a chance that you could have a flame, do what you need to do. Like everybody has homeowners insurance. Your house will probably never catch fire, but you have homeowners insurance. And that's what we do with Holistic Living Consulting. We give you that proactive, healthy plan before the inferno comes. And so, what it looks like working with us, our coaching is virtual. And so, we have a consultation. I learn about you. You fill out a survey. I learn probably more than what you will ever unfold with anyone else. But I learn about you, not just the physical, but the emotional and mental. Because, ladies, let me tell you, the key to taking care of you starts here. Because when you love this temple, your body's a temple. When you love it, I mean, just unapologetically love it and respect it, you will treat it accordingly. I tell you right now tonight, if Miss Harris sitting in the White House call you, one, if you got the call, you probably wouldn't even believe it. But let's say she called you and invited you to that White House. You will be on the first plane smoking to DC. You get there, and let's say you got a peppermint, you pop the peppermint in your mouth. That wrapper, I bet you $1 million you won't throw it on the floor because you respect where you're at. You respect the building. Your body's no different. If you respect it, every single day you're not going to put gunk in it. So once we work on this, the physical part is so much easier. I can tell you, well, based on what you're presenting, maybe you should increase this plan or that plan or, whatever in your diet. But with me, I really hone in on the emotional, mental, spiritual aspects of your health before we dive into the physical. And so through the wellness coaching, you get that proactive plan. However, if you do come to me and you have whatever, like one of a recent client I have has cancer. And so we're working on shrinking that tumor as much as possible, So it's customized, tailored to where you are and what you need with the coaching. In addition to the coaching, we do have digital courses. With the digital courses, we have courses. Our newest course, Self-Care Bootcamp for Entrepreneurs, gives you that foundation of how you can take care of yourself while building a successful business. And then we have 2 other digital courses right now, goal setting those goals with a proper foundation to ensure that you actually reach them, whether it's with your physical, mental, whatever aspect of your life. And then our other course that we're super excited about, Mindset Reset. Because when you reset this, when you're able to train your thoughts, remember earlier I said one thought changed my life. That thought changed my life. Most people who live with lupus, even some people I talk to now with lupus, their minds can't believe that, well, look at you. I can't believe you had it and you look how you look, because they're expecting a person whose complexion is just gone, hair done came out, all this stuff, but your mindset has so much to do with it. It changes the game. So when you're able to control your thoughts, it's a game changer, people. It's a game changer. And never in a million years would I have thought that from that pain would birth me having a business, me being a speaker, being an author, being blessed to have birthed several books, some that's got on the Amazon bestseller list, just because God blessed me to be able to figure out how to control this. So our digital courses lay that foundation for you to get the tools you need, and you work that plan out on your own. So that's really good for people who are disciplined to consume that information. And yes, I'm available you could ask a question. All my courses are housed through a platform to where you could ask me a question while you're taking the course, and I will respond, but you're not receiving that direct one-on-one coaching. But if you're disciplined enough to where you can get in, consume that information, and you get lifetime access to the course, you can do it and do it until it becomes your norm. So those are the services we offer. With our affiliate partners, we're able to provide healthy living products from A to Z, whether it's supplements, shakes, meals. We offer everything you need to live a healthier life.
I was just getting ready to ask you that. Actually, we got a couple of comments I want to just acknowledge. We got a swag her in the house.
Hello, swag her. Yes.
And do you
for tuning in.
Do you know a Shawn Tompkins?
Name isn't ringing a bell.
Okay. Well, I'll show a couple of the comments. So we have to know that we're worthy of the efforts. That's what you're talking about, that mindset piece, right?
Yes.
The sky is not our limit when your mindset is adjusted. Woo, she was able to.
Oh, wow. Kudos to you.
Yes.
For saying yes to a healthier you.
And you know what? And the thing is, like you said, that mindset, you have to have a certain mindset in order to be able to go into it. And that's why, I mean, obviously I'm not an expert on different diets and things of that nature. Not that I don't need to lose some pounds, but I'm not an expert. But what I do know is that eating is a lifestyle change. You know what I mean? And it starts up here, and I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, I'm listening to you, and I'm a confidence and success coach. And you're absolutely right in the whole congruency of all of your thoughts. Like if you truly believe, you love yourself, you want the best for yourself, right?
Yeah.
Then why wouldn't you also want the best for yourself in terms of what you put in your body, what you take in, and even down to what you put on your skin, right?
Yes. Yes.
When you mention what's it called, health, it's healthy living or young living. What's it called? The other company that you said you work with.
Oh, my company, Holistic.
No, but I thought it was another company that you work in conjunction with to provide different services.
Yes, through my affiliate partners right now, I'm affiliated with Juice Plus,
Okay.
which that's the organic fruit veggie supplements. Highly recommend. I take them, and then I'm also partnered with Pinnacle Hemp,
I've heard of
and
them.
so they're really great for CBD hemp.
Okay.
Again, organic. And for our meals,
Mhm.
we're partnered with Vegan Out,
Okay.
and they're nationwide shipping. So it doesn't matter where you live. And the meals come no prep required, y'all.
That's
Because
what I'm
I know
talking
some of
about.
these other meal plans out there, you still got to chop up a few things. You don't have to do nothing
Okay.
but put that bad boy in the oven, microwave, however you want to warm it up, and you're good.
You good.
And then we do have the farmer's fridge, which delicious salads. And with some of their salads, if you do want meat, they have lean meat options you can add. Also, no prep required. So right now, those are our affiliate partners.
That is awesome. Now, do you also work with like other treatment, modalities, like maybe, for example, individuals that do acupuncture? Like that's just the first thing that came to my mind. Like, do you work in conjunction with other natural healers like that as well?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet, simply because where I live, I'm the only natural around in my area. But that's something I actually want to change. So stay tuned.
So tell me your area again.
I live in Arkansas. I'm near Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay. Okay. So okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. This is just it's amazing. And I know the other condition I didn't mention was fibroids. I mean, I know just about, well, me as well as just about all the other women I know have all had issues with fibroids. So just even
Yeah.
something like that,
Yeah.
and I know it can be healed and treated, if you will, with, using natural,
Yes.
eating and just, probably getting enough rest and just doing different things other than, just taking whatever medication that they
Yeah.
give you. Actually, speaking of the medication, that's what I was going to ask you. So I know you mentioned steroids, and I know steroids are, I know, I don't know what they do to your body, but one thing I know is that they kind of blow you up. Like I've heard people say they've gained a lot of weight on
Oh.
steroids. And I
Hmm.
know you mentioned that. So typically, when you go into your regular medical doctor, let's say you get tested, they say, "Oh, you have lupus." What
Hmm.
do they typically try to start you off on? Like, what's their medical course of treatment that they typically do for that?
Oh my goodness. I first started um tranexamic acid. That was one of the drugs I was on.
Okay.
And the way it sounds is how it
I'm
felt.
like, I'm like that don't sound.
um, and then I can't even recall the chemo drug that I was on, but it was,
A chemo, that with chemo drug, they're really putting you
well,
on.
that's the thing though. Um,
Hmm.
Lupus is one of those conditions, believe it or not, that primarily affects Black women.
Okay.
Black women in the US were 10 to 20% more likely to die prematurely from lupus
Oh, I didn't
than other
know.
segments of the population. And the thing for a lot of us, just like with my story, we go misdiagnosed or undiagnosed for so long that by the time you are diagnosed with lupus, it can be pretty advanced to where your treatment is a little more aggressive than if it
Mhm.
was diagnosed at an earlier
Mhm.
stage. And so that's why by the time I was diagnosed, the doctor started such an aggressive form of treatment for me, because it had been over 10 years being misdiagnosed and wasn't getting treated. And so my health was not in a good place. But I do want to piggyback to your last comment about fibroids, simply because, ladies, if you're out there battling fibroids, I recently wrote a blog post on my website about preventing and managing fibroids. I highly recommend you check it out. There are some natural things you can do. You do not have to suffer with fibroids. That's another condition that primarily affects Black women, and a lot of us end up unnecessarily undergoing surgery for a procedure that isn't always warranted. So there are some natural things you could do to shrink fibroids. So be sure, head on over to my website, check out my blog. If you are battling that, read the blog. If you do have questions, that's what my chat is for. So put it in the chat, leave your name, email. If no one is available right that minute to respond to your question, I guarantee you within 24 hours, you will have an answer.
Wow. Yep. And I don't know how I forgot that one, but fibroids, and because, I know a couple of women that, they were childbearing age, or they were kind of getting up there in age, and they had these fibroids, and, they might have gotten them removed. And before they know it, they were back, and it was in a spot where it would either make it a pregnancy very painful, or complicate the pregnancy. I know the doctor said I had a lot of little fibroids, so they weren't in a position to like cause a problem or hindrance, but I had a lot of them, but they were very little, so. And then also too, I'm thinking menopause. Do you also work with menopausal women?
I sure do. I tell you, I laugh simply because the ladies who going through menopause, most of the time when they come to me, they've dealt with one hot flash too many.
Right.
And they're like, I need relief. But there are so many natural, sisters, let me tell you, even with the hot flashes, you have decreased estrogen in your body, so that plays a factor in that. But did you know? See, we live in a world where big pharma has just taken over. But did you know that there's food that has estrogen?
I didn't.
So there are natural ways to heal your body. Food is medicine. So there are some natural things you can do to help alleviate those hot flashes and not have everybody in the house mad at you because you got the air on 60.
I was just talking to a lady today, and she was talking about the night sweats. And I was telling her, I remember when my mom used to complain about that. She said that she would just wake up in the middle of the night, her sheets would be wet, her pajama top would be wet. So yeah. Wow, it's just amazing. I mean, it's amazing how much can be healed and managed, right? Through natural, like what you eat. Because if you think about it, they can give you a pill for something, but a lot of times by taking that one pill, it's to help this, but then it causes a problem over here with this. And then they're like, okay, well then you take this and it'll help with that. You know what I mean? With that side effect. And then that medication gives you a different side, so it's just like,
circle. But the thing that's great about plants, unless you have an allergy to that particular plant, there is no side effect. You know, unless you're allergic to a tomato,
Right.
a tomato, there is no side effect.
Right.
Or if your body needs more vitamin C and we fill you up with some pineapple, unless you're allergic to pineapples, guess what?
Yep. No
There's no
side
side
effect.
effect. So healing can be for so many conditions. Um, Let natural be. I'm not saying don't go to the doctor. Yeah, go to your healthcare professional.
Mhm.
However, have a game plan in place where your health and well-being is managed naturally.
I was going to pull this up here because I have your website here. So it's Cassandra R
Yes, that
Hill.com.
is correct.
And then you have your Instagram, which is Live Healthy for Life. Now, this is what I was going to ask you. Did you say you have a Facebook group as well?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I have a Facebook group. You can follow me on Facebook or well, like me on Facebook at Cassandra Hill, Healer of Women. There, I provide content not just on your physical body, because yes, I am a wellness coach, but I'm also a master life coach. And so, intertwining those, you get information that's going to change your personal as well as your professional life. So
Mm,
you can head on over to me at Facebook at Cassandra Hill, Healer of Women.
that is wonderful. So, on a, I guess, more of a personal level, what would you say was your biggest obstacle in your, whether it be personal or professional, that you had to address?
Oh my goodness. Can I tell you professionally? I started my business 4 years ago.
Okay.
And when I started my business, I was still working, I was teaching. And that's a lot to have a business and have a job as well. And so I was praying to God, when is it time for me to step into doing the business full time?
Mhm.
And he told me January 2020. And so in January of 2020, I left teaching and pursued my business full time. We all know what 2020 brought.
Mhm.
And so when I first walked away, I had planned this big book tour. At that time, my devotional had just released, and I'm super stoked. I'm like, I'm going on my book tour, yay! Got all these venues scheduled out, and then one by one, cancel. And initially, I thought, well, this isn't going to last long. This pandemic, it'll be
Mhm.
over and I'll be able to get back doing what I was doing. But, well, we already know it lasted a little bit.
Mhm.
And so I'm like, Lord, okay, I done stepped away. And even if I wanted to go back, they're closed.
Mhm.
And so, what do you want me to do? And that was hard. That was real hard going through that because you're talking about investments that you're not getting back. And so, one of the things I did, I had a stockpile of books that I had got for, the signings, I was like, well, I guess I'm gonna start going live on social media trying to sell these books to get some income. I did that. That helped. And then as the time went along, honestly, because prior to the pandemic, most of the time as a speaker, I was speaking in person. I wasn't doing a whole lot of virtual events. But I tell you, I started getting more calls from event planners as the time went on. And I was like, okay, Lord, you're showing me something else. But there was a quiet time to where it was hard. It was hard, but I grew and I learned, and I'm so thankful because that time made it possible for the woman I am today, and some things that's being birthed. Uh, Even right now, that book that I had planned on going on tour with at that time, even this year, that book won a Book Excellence Award in the spirituality category. He Restored My Soul, Triumph Through Adversity. Um, but even that, I think, came from me having that quiet time and just listening to God and being able to figure out some things I know He wanted me to do. Um, and it just shows be patient because, as I mentioned, it was just this year that that book was fortunate to receive that reward. Um, but yeah, it was a struggle.
Wow. So you have testimonials where there have been individuals, whether it be lupus or other ailments, that by working with you have like significantly shrunk or decreased, like become asymptomatic?
If you go to my website, you will definitely see some testimonials as well as on our Google page, people who they feel like their life has been changed. And that's not something I take for granted. It's always a blessing where a person can say, I worked with Cassandra and she changed my life. So yeah, you can definitely head to the website and see it, as well as our Google review, which I think we're still at 5 on Google. But yeah, I'm really, what I do, yes, is this is my business, but it's also my gift, my calling. And I don't work with everyone. I'm not for everyone. So if we have a consultation and we're a fit, then we move forward. But if we're not a fit, I'm more than happy to recommend you to someone who I think may be a better fit for you. Because when I say yes to you, I accept whatever you come with, I accept it, and I want the transformation, if not as much as you, sometimes more than you. So I'm real careful about making sure we're a great fit because I really want what's best for you.
Okay. I understand that. I totally get that part. What about children?
Unfortunately, well, I'm not even going to say unfortunately because God has a plan for my life. I do not have any biological children. I lost some babies prior to being diagnosed with systemic lupus, had a few pregnancies, just didn't know that I had that condition. And so unfortunately, my babies didn't survive. So I don't have any here on the earth, but I do have some waiting for me in heaven.
Do you work with children? Like, or is your clientele primarily adults?
Women, yes. I work primarily with women. Now, have I worked with guys? Yes, I have worked with a few guys, but most of the women that I serve Typically, I work with women. Most of the time, their ages about 35 to about 54 is normally who I work with.
Okay. All right. Okay. I was going to ask one more question, and then we can go ahead and wrap up. And I'm going to ask the one question, and then I'd like for you just to share again or reiterate where they can find you. And if you have any, upcoming events or, what maybe some places that you're going to be speaking at, things of that nature, if you could share that with them, that would be great. Okay, my computer was acting up. But so the last question is, what piece of advice would you give to a younger version of yourself?
I would tell my younger self to believe in you.
Okay.
It doesn't matter who does believe in you, and it doesn't matter who doesn't believe in you.
Mm-hmm.
Believe in you and know that whatever you set your mind to do, you can accomplish.
It's all up here, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because people can tell you all day long, right? Oh, you this, you that, whether, like you said, good or bad. But do you believe it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that that's great. That, like how you said, you have to start out with the mindset, and then work from there. Just like when people like business coaches, somebody can come in and give you all the best, they can tell you about the different funnel systems, hook your website up, get your email marketing together, but you have to have a certain mindset. You have to believe in what you are or the transformation you are providing to your target audience. So like it starts up here. So it has just been, thank you so much for coming on the show. This is our first time meeting, and you are just you're such a beautiful spirit, so easy to talk to and so transparent. I love that. Thank you again. And your services, your work is so needed. So needed. Shoot, I may be contacting you too. But at any rate, this is the end of our time, everyone. So, like she said, if you have any, you catch the replay. If you have any questions or comments, leave them there, and we'll double back. She is getting ready to tell you again. So if you didn't have a pen or paper earlier, grab it now. She's going to give you her social media handles again and her website.
All right. Stay plugged in with me. You can find me online, 𝐐AssandraRhill.com, 𝐐AssandraRhill.com. We're on Instagram at Live Healthy for Life, as well as on Facebook at Cassandra Hill, Healer of Women. And I'm super stoked. For the month of October, I have a few speaking engagements. You will find me on stage at Amplify Her. It is going to be a great event. If you're in Atlanta, head on to Atlanta, but it is a hybrid event. So if you're not in Atlanta, it's virtual as well. So head on over, Amplify Her. It's on Facebook. It is always a treat. This is, I think, my second or third time speaking at Amplifier, but you're always going to get some golden nuggets there. I also will be speaking at Health Mastery for Leaders. That is going to be a really great event for if you're in business and you need support, whether it's in staying consistent in your business or how to take care of you. I know I'll be speaking on self-care as an entrepreneur. That's really going to be a great event. So you can learn more about those events just by staying plugged into me on social media. They're on Facebook or Instagram as well. And thanks so much to everyone for tuning in. I love the comments. It gives me life. And I want to thank you so much for inviting me to your stage at Queen's Roundtable Show. I'm enjoying it and wishing you much success in this endeavor as well.
Thank you so much. And you know what? I need to, this information and everything that you've shared with us has been just great, very practical, you know, and this is what we need to start doing. We need to really step it up a little bit, you know, in order to be able to optimally perform, right? And to have can't even say it, longevity, right? And to be our best selves, because I know we talk a lot about being the best version of ourselves, and you need to be able to, you know, or monitor what you're putting in your temple, right? So this is such an important topic and conversation. We need to have it more, you know. So what the information that you provided to us has been awesome. I'm definitely going to, I know we're connected on Facebook, but I'm definitely going to make sure that we are connected on some other platforms as well, and as well as your group, so I can stay in the know too. So thank you all so much for joining us for 𝐻_Queens Roundtable Show and Podcast. I am Jacqueline Kabah Harrison. I am also your host for 𝐻_Queens Roundtable Leadership Symposium. The next one will be in January, so stay tuned. Thank you for those that have supported, as well as we need your support for the Born to Lead, Awakening the Leader Within, which was my new anthology. We actually just launched on the 26th. So copies are available now. You can either go to Amazon.com and get you the paperback or the Kindle version, or you can come to my page where there's a link, a direct link to take you there to purchase it. That's right. So definitely do that. Thank you all for your ongoing and continued support. All right. And also, 𝐻_Queens Roundtable Show is broadcasted on YouTube, LinkedIn, as well as Facebook, my Facebook business page. And I also uploaded to the Women Win Network. So if you are interested, you have a show, existing show, or you have an idea for an awesome show that can help women in regards to personal, professional, and or spiritual development, then definitely reach out to me. I would love to interview you to have your show on the 𝐻_Queens Roundtable channel, which is powered by the Women Win Network, available on Roku as well as Amazon Fire TV. So hit me up. Let's have a conversation and let's make it happen, right? Before we know it, y'all, we'll be saying happy Halloween, happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, and then it'll be Happy New Year, right? Time goes so fast. So stop sitting on these ideas. Stop waiting on the perfect time, the right time. The right time is now. It's right now. So hit me up and let's have a conversation. So Miss Cassandra, thank you again. I know we will be in touch again in the future. And everyone out there in Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube land, thanks again for joining us, and I will see you next time. Take care, everybody.
Bye.